was a time in our American history that all of these things, including the long hair, our language, the dances that you're seeing now, all of these things were outlawed.
We've proven we can do economic development, we can do all these things. We walk in two worlds, but we know who we are, and we come back. We reconnect with our spirituality.
Every single thing that they're wearing from the top of their heads all the way down to their feet, there's a story for everything. There's a meaning for everything. There's a purpose for everything.
Choctaw siya hoke, hicha taska siya. That means I am a Choctaw warrior, and I am Choctaw.
One of the largest and most fascinating Native American tribes thrive across the southeastern part of the U.S., the Choctaw. Okla-Humma is home to the Choctaw Nation tribal headquarters, where the tribe has billions of dollars of impact on this state, from its casinos, health centers to travel plazas. That's what people see at a glance. But if you look closer, this is a Native American tribe deep in culture and tradition. The tribe's history is filled with oppression and forced immigration. You may know some of the tribe's history and know about the Trail of Tears. But did you know there are more than 200,000 Choctaw tribal members today? Their perseverance is unique in keeping their culture and traditions alive, and we're going to show it to you in action. The Choctaw Nation's powwow, an annual tradition in Durant, Oklahoma. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. This is Okla-Humma, Discovering Choctaw.
I came here because it's a big traditional powwow. They have competitions here. It's just something I've done all of my life. It's a joyful feeling.
63-year-old Choctaw William Gracie drove hundreds of miles from his hometown in Louisiana to Durant, Oklahoma to be part of the 2024 Choctaw Nation powwow.
Most of these powwows are traditional powwows, and that's what that is. Friendship powwows, and you meet everybody, you enjoy and stuff.
He's been dancing since the 1980s, and what he wears is a reflection of his tribe, his culture, and friendships he's made along the way.
It's called regalia, and it means the colors, and all different colors means friendship and getting along with everybody, and joy and happiness. I got some stuff, some regalia I put on that belongs to my family. And it's a special meaning every time you get out and dance at powwows with it. It means it's a special feeling. I bustle, they're real eagle feathers, and I had a good friend of mine put them together for me. But he did a good job. It's like a traditional. It's a traditional bustle that the eagle feathers work good on. So it's a good feeling to know that you got the eagle spirit with you. Feeling will put chill bumps on you when you have an eagle fly over or something. It goes back to our ancestors many years ago when the eagle's a spirit. It's a spirit, symbol of a spirit.
There's prize money in the competitions. But there's something else here that means so much more, honoring the Choctaw culture, traditions, and passing them down to the next generation.
It's great that he's coming up in the footsteps that I was there when I was little.
William takes his grandson Elijah with him to powwows all over the country.
I'm cheering.
Is it good? Elijah is only 7, but he's already a champion dancer.
He's a junior grass champion, grass dancer.
What does that mean, a grass dancer?
Grass dancer back then. Go ahead and tell her.
So back in the day, they'll take kids and wind up, and they didn't have lawnmowers back in the day, so they'll take kids and they'll stomp the grass and they'll be like flat. But there was this one kid, he was crippled, so he would like turn sideways and do different shapes.
With inspiration and an older generation passing down traditions of the Choctaw, Elijah has found his own style in his regalia.
So you have some Mexicans that you got my head roach, you have a headband, you have a cape that goes around your breast, then you have sheep fur around your ankles, and then you have bells.
And when Elijah is dressed in his regalia and takes the floor to dance, it's a moving experience that his grandfather says brings pride to their family.
And to see him growing up and maybe take my place one day.
It's not only Choctaw that come together at the powwow in Durant, it's also other tribes from all over the country. They join together, share their cultures, dance, and traditions. Each had their own unique style, and it's shared all in one place. A tradition the Choctaw say is the true meaning of a powwow.
We have dancers from all across the United States and Canada that are here. So and every year it's growing bigger and bigger. Choctaw people have been doing this since the beginning of time. Like we have visitors come to our homelands. We share songs, dances, and stories with them, just like we do now. We eat with them, we feast with them, things like that. They share with us, we share with them. It's the same thing, same thing we've been doing all these years.
But the dances of the Choctaw and other tribal members you see here were once a band display of Native American culture.
There was a time in our American history that all of these things, all the things that our Choctaw people did as well, including the long hair, our language, that we weren't able to do. And the people that are here, they went through the same things. The dances that you're seeing now, there was a time in our history not very long ago that only people 55 years of age or older could do these things. And the only time that they could do it was under strict supervision by the federal government or the church. The reason why is because they felt that if we did these things, that we had uprised, we'd get off the reservation, we'd cause trouble, or we were praying to the demons. There was a misunderstanding there. So with the Religious Freedom Act in 1978, that started opening the door for us to start celebrating and doing the things that our people used to do.
With that much time passing, it's taken more than 40 years to get some of those traditions back. But by bringing the tribes together, there's hope the traditions won't be forgotten.
Our grandfathers, our ancestors, or the creator and stuff like that, they're always still trying to communicate with us as Indian people. We have a very strong spirituality, and they're trying to communicate with us and bringing back our old ways, So might be a tribe here that might have been very similar to us, or we might have been from the same place, They might have something that they remember. They bring it here, and then we are able to adopt that thing. It's the same way with us. We might have something that we remember, and we're able to help them as well. That's what's so important about this,
The regalia among the tribes are unique, colorful, and inspiring, but each has its own impression.
I do what I like, but we always do try and use the fire colors, which are the red, black, yellow, and white.
Family members may have the same shapes as well, signifying a connection to Mother Nature.
Diamonds are for the diamondback, rattlesnake, and then we have our crosses here, or the X's, which would be the stick balls.
Winter Buffalo girl Simmons, who goes by Buffy, has been dancing since she was 5 years old.
I originally started in my traditional Choctaw dress, and then probably about when I became a junior, teens, I started dancing in a more contemporary style dress, which is the women's Southern cloth. It's just culture, reconnecting with my culture, and dancing with friends and family. I have 5 kids. 4 of them dance, all 4 girls.
Their regalia is handmade by family.
My mom makes everything, so I'm lucky enough to have her still with me today and making everything for me and my children.
Making pieces for regalia and sharing it with others is a big part of the Native American culture.
My daughters, they wanted to dance, and so I was getting their regalia ready for them. I have 3 of them, and I started looking around at some jewelry to help fill their regalia up, and I was like, you know, jewelry can be expensive because it's, you know, it's a craft, and so, you know, the artists are worthy of that money. So I was like, but I have 3 girls. So I was like, I better learn how to make this for them.
Bead maker Chris Shelley now makes jewelry for others while keeping the tradition and culture of the Choctaw people in mind with every piece.
For instance, our collar necklaces, you know, they're all in the shapes of diamonds, which the diamonds, you know, represent our rattlesnake. That's the same with the diamonds in our dresses. In the past, when the farmers had their crops, the rattlesnake kept the pest and rodents away. I specifically like turtles. Turtles are good luck for Choctaws. Humma, you know, also comes from Okla-Humma. It's red because we're red people. So red is more dominant. They do have meanings, like yellow, of course, represents the sun. The blue can represent the sky or water. Green represents the land. We're taught as dancers and regalia wearers that your pieces are part of your energy. You don't want other people touching it and putting their energy in it.
There you go. Thank you. My husband and I, Scott Davison, we came together, decided we'd make a Native American food truck.
Another big part of the culture is food native to Choctaws.
I was a dealer at the casino for like 7.5 years. He was at his job for 22 years. And I loved dealing the games, but I wanted my freedom. I know how to make native foods, you know, like grape dumplings and all these traditional dishes as well.
Christine shares the same food she had as a child growing up with people all over Oklahoma.
Our tanch labona, which is from corn. We do a lot of stuff with corn, which is cracked pearl hominy with pork meat and salt boiled together, so it's like a hominy stew. And then you get your fry bread, sop it up. People like salt pork with it as well, but that is one of our other traditional dishes that we have.
Her Choctaw family's recipes not only bring good food to the table, it provides for her family.
We went with it, and now we're 6.5 years in. Yeah.
And it's good.
Yes, it's been good. And this year, we have 75 bookings for the whole year. Last year was like 59 to 60 bookings. So we really took off with it. Here you go. You're welcome.
Another thing we learned while at the powwow is how the Choctaw people have grown, how they've adapted. In many ways, it's because they're a strong and resilient tribe. But in hearing their stories and learning their history, they taught us how generations before them were forced to adapt. Their history, just like other Native American tribes, includes heartbreak.
We're singing what we call a celebration of life. In a powwow ceremony, everybody's respected from infant, adolescent, adult to elder, especially the women. The women are the backbone of the family. So if you see in this powwow, when they ask the women to dance, mostly everybody stands up. They are what we call the life givers. And the warriors, like soldiers, were the life takers. So there's an equal, what we call a balance of nature.
Dan Isaac leads this drumming group and explains how the sounds and the beat impact the Native culture.
The ancestors that have passed on, they know what the words are. They're in the spirit world, people call heaven, or what we call the spiritual realm. So when we're singing here in a physical realm, they're actually dancing and singing in a spiritual realm. And see, that's how we're connected. There's a lot of people here, a lot of tribes. So the songs a lot of times are vocables that it's just more like a sound, but it's a spiritual language.
He teaches those drumming beside him, like Grant Ben, about Choctaw traditions.
I met him at our school powwow that we had, and we had this little group, which is, we've gotten quite bigger, called Blue Nation, and we've had elders around from where we stayed that teaches us how to drum, or even then let us know what's wrong and what's right. And this guy right here is one of the main reasons on why I am where I am today. I was never taught by my parents about what powwow or Native American tradition is.
Dan says he teaches the traditions of the Choctaw people to a younger generation because at one time it started to get lost. Through his own family experience, he explains why.
When the Europeans came, they were looking for religious freedom. And when they came here, they took away our religious freedom. Many of, like my grandparents and their parents, were sent to boarding school, and they were told, throw away everything, learn English, don't learn your ways. When they came back to their people, they didn't know how to do the ceremonies, they didn't know how to speak the language, and so powwow was actually developed to start bringing people back to reconnect.
I'd like to thank our Choctaw people first, for allowing us to bring this in. There was a time in even our Choctaw history, because of that misunderstanding of our ways, that all of this stuff was devil worship, But just by being here and seeing, we pray. All of those songs that are being sung, might have been talking about a battle like this. That's a prayer song, Our people have always been very, very spiritual, And spirituality and religion is completely different, Spirituality is that connection with Mother Earth. That spirituality is connection with the people, our ancestors, the spirituality there, And there was that misunderstanding that, like I said, these ways were evil, these ways were demon ways and stuff like that. But there's nothing like that. Our Choctaw people, we didn't have a word for devil or demon or hell or anything like that. We've always been spirituality. It's always been connected to our homelands, our Mother Earth. We've always been connected to the people and our visitors.
The Choctaw ancestry can be traced to central and southern Mississippi and to parts of eastern Louisiana and western Alabama. They were the first of 5 tribes moved to Okla-Humma by the Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek in 1830. Most know it as the Trail of Tears. More than 20,000 Choctaws were forced along the journey. Many didn't survive.
When I travel here back and forth, I feel those energy of those spirits that died along that journey.
Grant and Ben traveled hundreds of miles for the Choctaw powwow every year, a path that runs parallel to the Trail of Tears.
We live in the homelands, our original homeland in Mississippi. In the 1830s, there were 3 times they made Choctaw people walk in the dead of winter to come here. So it's actually a pilgrimage for us to go back and forth, picking up the spirits of the people that died along the way.
Bringing back Choctaw traditions is how new generations like Dan and Grant's honor their ancestors, their families, and each other.
1978 is when we got our religious freedom back. In 1924 is when we became citizens of our own country. A lot of people don't know that. And 1934 is the first time we could leave our reservation without permission. So when we got our religious freedom back, we start doing the drums, we start singing. I start learning my language back. Now I speak my language a lot, but these people, that's what we're doing. We're doing what we're supposed to be, what Creator made us to be ourselves.
When I started out, I really didn't see a lot of teenagers my age going to powwows, starting singing, until me or any one of our other members start recruiting. That's when people started to see, hey, if this younger generation, which is around my generation, is getting into powwow, why can't I get into powwow? When I'm singing and drumming, I think about how my ancestors would feel if I wasn't doing it right now. And when I do it, like he said, it's like a heartbeat. Powwow is a way of life.
We're healing us, but it goes back 7 generations, and when we heal us, it also goes forward. He's gonna carry it 7 generations forward. So what we're doing right now is a major undertaking.
Yeah.
I'm healing the people that died. He's gonna be healing people that's not yet born.
I mean, it might be our 19th annual, like doing this event, but our Choctaw people have been doing this since the beginning of time.
Family, culture, just reconnecting with our Choctaw roots.
Well, I enjoy it. It's my heritage. Something I've done all of my life.
We can pass it down to younger generations. I have a little brother. He didn't know about a powwow until he seen me singing in my room. And now he wants to dance and he wants to drum. It's all about having a positive relationship with the people around you.
In Choctaw, we don't say goodbye. We say see you later, which is Chapisa la Chaki.
Chata sea hoke, hicha taska sea. That means I am a Choctaw warrior and I am Choctaw.
Today, the Choctaw Nation's reservation covers nearly 11,000 square miles of Okla-Humma. The tribal headquarters building is in Durant, Oklahoma. Tuskahoma is the capital of the Choctaw Nation. The Choctaw have a tribal council made up of representatives from each of the 12 districts within the state. The economic impact in Oklahoma from the Choctaw Nation's many businesses is estimated at more than $2 billion a year. And as the Choctaw say, the state is home to people of deep faith, strong ties to family, and a resilient cultural heritage. During this year's powwow, we saw that up close. And next year, you're invited to come and see it for yourself. I'm Jo Ellison. Thank you for watching Okla-Humma, Discovering Choctaw.